Hello friends, it's Victor here, and I am now 3 months on low-dose testosterone, here to update you on all of the changes and happenings in low-dose T world with a heavy emphasis on my singing voice. Up front, I'll talk about the physical changes, all of the things that are not singing voice related, and then in the second half of the video, I will talk about my singing voice specifically in gross detail. Before we get started, please do consider hitting the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you very much, it would mean a lot to me. Alright, without further ado, let's get on with the video. Alright, for new physical changes. 1. I have gained a lot of weight, not in terms of pounds on the scale, but like, I think my midsection is a little bit pudgier, and like my face feels like it looks like there's more to me, and nothing has changed in terms of exercise and diet. I've talked it through with my personal trainer and everything in terms of all the numbers point to we should be healthier now than 3 months ago, and the only thing that has changed is going on hormones. So yeah, not diet or exercise related as far as my personal trainer and I are concerned. So I think that is directly to do with the hormones. So that is potentially unfortunate, but also I'm hoping just going to be something that my body will ride out and that I will not have to deal with long term. Like, hopefully it will resolve itself. If it doesn't, then we will learn to deal with a new normal and I will figure out how to deal with that. And it's not the end of the world. It's like, little pudge is not a big deal. Secondly, body hair? Question mark. So no, I do not have body hair in the way that you would like normally think, but I have noticed that around my body, specifically like around my belly button, and then like also a little bit on my arms, I've noticed that you can like see these tiny little like hairs. They're very light, they are very soft, and like you can barely see them if you're looking closely. But for someone who ordinarily is pretty hairless basically everywhere, this has been like, wow, I am on hormones that are changing my body kind of moment. Thankfully, I think the body hair has kind of so far only been limited to like belly button area and maybe like arm hairs a little bit. I haven't noticed my leg hair getting really thicker or darker or longer at all. So maybe that's coming, maybe it's not. To this day, my leg hair really only grows on the inside half of my leg, so maybe that will change eventually. Bottom growth has slowed substantially, if not just stopped growing altogether, so that's maybe a little bit disappointing. I was hoping for like a lot down there, but it's looking like maybe that might not be a thing, but we'll see. Maybe it'll decide to start growing a little bit more again. Again, it's just all very up in the air, and, you know, we'll see how it goes. I'm continuing to get stronger, going to the gym, continuing to move up in weight beyond the plateau that I had prior to hormones, so that is a positive thing. And other than that, no substantial changes in body composition, strength, endurance, anything like that. All right, let's talk about my voice. So my speaking voice, I feel like, is basically the same between 2 months on T and 3 months on T in terms of how it feels. I do think that the range of like comfortable speaking voice is maybe potentially dropping a little bit, especially in the mornings. I can really tell like it feels boomier and deeper, which is kind of nice. And then as it warms up throughout the day, as anyone's voice does, it kind of settles into more of a mid-range, which is fine. Okay, let's talk about my singing voice, because this is really interesting. I'm starting to develop a falsetto, but it's very strange because there will literally be days where I cannot sing in falsetto at all. Like, I will like do the things that voices should do in order to sing in falsetto, and then nothing. No sound comes out. Like, I can't even really move air. It's very strange, and it feels kind of strange, and it sounds like nothing, and it sounds like sometimes I can move the air, sometimes I can't, and it's very, very strange. But other days, I will go to sing in falsetto, and it sounds like falsetto. It feels different than head voice. It feels much more like coming from here, and it feels exactly what it sounds like. It feels false in a way, and I only have it in a few notes as of right now. Hopefully, as I continue to be on hormones, that falsetto range will expand and will settle, and I won't get kind of that, you know, not able to make any sound moments anymore. Hopefully, I will be able to consistently sing with falsetto. That would be really nice. At this point, I have basically completely lost my head voice. The way that I used to sing in head voice prior to starting hormones it's just not an option anymore. I can't really do anything with it. I can't even really like physically make that space in my voice at all. Thankfully for me, singing in my head voice prior to starting hormones was always kind of like a weird dissociative dysphoria inducing thing that I generally didn't do all that much except for certain occasions for certain purposes. And so to me, it is not a grand loss to have not been able to sing in my head voice for the past month, and theoretically going forward as well. During my 2-month update, I think I had mentioned that my falsetto / head voice had really expanded, that I could sing really, really high, like higher than I could prior to starting hormones. That is no longer the case. To be fair, I haven't really tried to stretch my voice high, but especially with the inconsistency of being able to even use my falsetto, I haven't really wanted to push it. Now let's talk about chest voice. So my chest voice on the high end is actually expanding, I think, where, you know, prior to starting hormones, I could push and I could like kind of do like an alto belt up to like maybe an A, maybe I hit a B flat once. And that was about the highest I could sing in my chest voice prior to starting hormones. Now I can chest voice much, much higher. It's much easier to mix voice. Mixed voice has been coming much, much more naturally. It took me years to develop a good mixed voice prior to starting hormones, but now it just kind of naturally mixes, which is really nice. And it means that I really have a full chest voice sound, like much, much higher, up to a B, sometimes a C, which is a really nice thing as someone who strives to sing sounding like a tenor. The mid-range, I still feel like is a little bit sloppy, but I'm slowly getting there in terms of control. It no longer feels like a wild time where I just can't control the sounds that I'm producing at all. I'm getting there in terms of being able to sing with good technique and produce sounds that I am in control of. So that is definitely a positive thing, and I think has been the result of my continued practice and dedication to honing my instrument, my voice as my instrument. Finally, on the low range, I can now sing down to like the B or B flat below low C. So like there's middle C and there's low C, an octave below that, and then I can do the B or B flat below that, but pretty comfortably and strongly, I can sing that C below middle C at this point. Now, a lot of cis male tenor voices kind of bottom out at that C below middle C, and so if I didn't gain anything below that, I would be totally fine and totally content. Really, I'm just thrilled to be able to full voice sing that C below middle C, because I feel like it's really opened the doors for the things that I can sing and with the range that I can sing. Lately, I've been kind of just playing with my voice and casually like singing or humming around the house at that C below middle C, the D below middle C, kind of in that register, and it's just kind of nice. It feels like low and rumbly, but like in a good way. I think prior to starting hormones, I could definitely hit a D or sometimes a D flat below middle C, but it was not like a full, like powerful sound, whereas now I can hit those notes and like feel like, yeah, I'm powerful. And like that feeling is just unparalleled. It is wonderful. I think that's all I have for you in terms of singing voice updates, but please do stay tuned for next week's video, which is my 3 months on T singing voice cover of some song that I haven't decided on yet, but please do stay tuned for that. All right, that's all I have for this week. Thank you very much for watching. Please do consider liking and subscribing, and until next time.